2.2 Auckland.
Radio Whammo Breakfast.
Game junkie, Gerard Campbell.
Yes, indeed. Game junkie Gerard Campbell joining us this morning. I promised him some important intro music, particularly some good news intro music for him. Why? Well, he was going to be appearing on Al Jazeera today, but apparently that fell through. We're talking about the Sony PlayStation big old go down. The PlayStation 3 network has been hacked, and initially it was just the network going down, but it's since developed much further than that. Gerard Campbell with the latest. Hopefully that was satisfying enough for you there, Gerard. Hopefully that fills the gap.
Well, why would I want to do Al Jazeera when I can do Radio Whammo on a Thursday morning?
Exactly. Now,
when it's freezing cold.
What happened last week with the PlayStation 3 network?
By all accounts, a naughty hacker person, whether it's a person or a group, has Sony describes it as an external intrusion. Basically, they've hacked the PlayStation network, and that means that they've got access to, Sony have said, personal details that people have got on the PlayStation network, login accounts, usernames, passwords, security questions, and also, of course, probably the most worrying aspect is with a lot of these online services, and PlayStation Network's no exception, that you can make purchases, downloadable content, actual full price games, and you put this is the norm now, you put your credit card details
in order to purchase this kind of stuff.
In order to purchase this stuff, and then when you purchase content, it just automatically deducts that amount from your credit card. Now, so Sony has said they haven't got any evidence that any credit card numbers have been sent out into the wild, but they are warning people that maybe they should keep a close eye on their credit card accounts. They should contact their bank. So it's a pretty serious issue here, the fact that somebody's managed to hack into the system and gain access to all this vital personal information. More worryingly is that the credit card information could be out there.
But let's talk about how the story developed, because initially it was just an inconvenience, wasn't it? The network that people use to actually communicate with each other and play games with each other online went down, and that was the inconvenience. But at that point, there was no indication from Sony that that personal details had been stolen.
No, well, from what I understand, I think Sony let people know. I think it was probably Monday, so the date is probably about Monday, 25th, and I think Sony have said that they found out about the intrusion sometime between the 17th and the 19th of April, but was saying that they didn't know until earlier this week that actually credit card details and information had been potentially compromised. So, I think Sony have done the right thing by taking the PlayStation network down, but I think they perhaps could have been a wee bit more proactive.
Is that what happened here? That they detected an incursion, so they took it down? It wasn't the actual incursion itself that actually took it down?
No, from what I understand, they actually, once they'd found out that there was an intrusion, that they took the network down. They said they said in an effort to make sure that security is maintained, and so they're rebuilding their network right from the ground up, which has got to be a huge action. And so the PlayStation Network, which is the sort of the key outlet for PlayStation gamers to online game together and that sort of thing, has been out for it's essentially a week now.
Wow, that's a big deal in itself, isn't it? Apart from the personal details being stolen, people have an expectation when they buy a console and then buy games that play online, that they will be able to do that. That's surely that's a PlayStation promise.
Well, it is. It's. I guess we take it for granted now that online systems are robust and they're well tested and they're secure. And that you can connect to things. We all have outages, internet outages, and that sort of thing. But I think it's got to be a fairly serious breach for a service like this to be down for as long as it is. And this essentially the story's it's changing almost hour to hour. I haven't checked the web this morning, but there's updates coming all over the place, and Sony is saying that it may not be till the end of the week now till the service gets back online. So, and there are gamers who are saying, well, we want compensation from Sony because, we've lost this and we've lost that. And, that's going to be an interesting point because, the PlayStation Network is a free service, so...
Or do you pay for it through buying the console? I mean, is the cost built in, and the cost of the network also built into the console?
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So, I mean, I think that, the interesting question is going to be what sort of compensation Sony will give PlayStation 3 because not only is it a huge inconvenience that they've had this online service, especially and especially for us because it was an Easter weekend, so you've got 4 days where gamers were thinking, great, here's 4 days of uninterrupted gaming time away from work, other things, and that's down. Also the fact that the PlayStation Network has something like 77 million users.
Yeah, it's huge.
And it's a huge number of people that have been inconvenienced and potential personal details. So, I mean, what that means is that when you can, and again, I haven't tried to get hold of the service this morning, but I was talking to people last night who said, they want to get on and change their password, they want to change their security question, they want to change settings, but they can't connect to the PlayStation Network to do that. So at the moment they can't. Things like you can still update games. Some games can still update. Obviously, they're using different servers from the PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
But I think once the network's back up and running, Sony's going to have some serious questions that they're going to have to answer about how did what was a supposedly robust and a worldwide online service, how did it get breached? How did it get hacked? And what guarantees are they going to give in the future that it won't happen again?
Well, you will be keeping people, I'm sure, updated over at the Game Junkie blog at stuff.co.nz in the technology section there. Surely this is a fast-moving story, and Gerard Campbell is on top of it over there, even though he's on holiday. And thanks very much for joining us on your holiday as well. Thanks, Gerard.
Not a problem. Thanks, Ben.